Folks, grab your suits and suit up because we are here for another episode of the Soul Sessions. But with me today, he's the guy that likes to break backs. Robb Stow, welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks for having me. Yeah.
My absolute pleasure, Robb. But obviously, with every guest has a story and every story has a beginning. Robb, how did your story begin as a wrestling fan?
Damn. Honestly, I don't think there was an actual beginning. Wrestling was always there, mainly in video game form for the longest time. My god brother always had, the PS1 and the PS2 games, like all the rock centric ones, and Here Comes the Pain. So we used to play those, and then eventually I got around to forcing my mom to buy me some every year, and then it was just playing the games. And then, one year during a holiday, stumbling across TNA. Really weird because it was at like 9 a.m. in the morning on like a Monday during the holiday, and it was I think it was Genesis 2005, and it was just like a rerun of that, like an hour chunk in the morning, really random, but like I fell in love there, watched that. It took me like a year to realize that it was Genesis on a rerun. Like I thought, oh, there's wrestling on, and then I started watching TNA like every week. Like my first proper pay-per-view was the following one, Turning Point, seeing Christian actually debut, which is great, seeing Christian still going at it today and just ragging on dead dads. I'm here for it. Yeah, and then from there, never had Sky Sports growing up, so my WWE stuff was just video games and WWE Experience that was on like Sky One on a Sunday morning. So watch that, go play football with my pals, and then FU them for celebrations and everything. But that was pretty much it. And then literally 2 months after the Summer of Punk, I was randomly YouTubing the Rock promos just for fun. And then stumbled across the Pipe Bomb, and I was like, oh shit, I know that guy from seeing stuff online and whatnot, and his brief run in TNA. And I was like, dope. Nan, can we get Sky Sports? Because I want to start watching Raw and SmackDown. So from then it was like, Raw and SmackDown every week. I'd stopped watching TNA already at this point because it, Hogan. But yeah, and then from then, obviously, kind of sticking with it. Sometimes a little bit more hardcore than others, But now with AEW, try and keep up as much and just keeping my eyes on the like independent scene as well, because that's a lot more random fun sometimes. But yeah,
absolutely indeed, Rob. I want to touch back there upon the video games because I feel like the video games are so important. They're another form for fans to get into wrestling. And obviously, we had the THQ games going into the 2K games. When it was yourself, Rob, that shift in dynamic, do you think in the long term that was a positive shift?
Oh, sorry, you kind of broke up there. Sorry, was it a positive shift going from THQ to 2K?
Yes.
Man, honestly, it's kind of like I wouldn't say it was a positive shift. I wouldn't even say it was a negative shift. It was just a difference, right? Apple and an orange. You can compare them. One's crunchy, one's not. What would you prefer? Like the 2K games, obviously a bit more arcadey and fun. And there was for me, a greater emphasis on like the stories and like the actual gameplay between matches. Like I was literally thinking about it the other day. The story mode for like Here Comes the Pain, Know Your Role, and the first few SmackDown versus Raws was so fun because like just all the little secrets and everything that you could find rolling around backstage, like finding gold dust in a random like changing room or whatever, buying the guide like a month before the game come out and like seeing where you can unlock all the guys. I missed that. But the simulation stuff from 2K, I think, there's obviously a place for it because they are doing well once they actually, spend the time and money on making it good. And now you've got AEW, obviously, with THQ again, bringing back the arcadey stuff. I wish it wasn't too quick. 3 minutes for a match is a bit of a piss take, but other than that, like, more wrestling games. That's what we need.
Absolutely, indeed. And obviously, Fight Forever, it's doing something different. We've got the Stadium Stampede mode, which has been introduced, and Bunny and Keith Lee DLC are out now.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of wrestling games taking that risk and going for uncharted waters with this Stadium Stampede mode. How does that feel for you as a fan of these games, that they're going into a new area that's not been explored?
I think it's cool. As long as they've actually worked on it properly and it works. My main fear would be that they're just like cashing in on the battle royale-esque bit, right? But if the online works well, which I'll be real, I've never played a wrestling game online because it's always been shit. I've not played Fight Forever online at all because I just know. But yeah, if it works and it's fun, then cool. I've not actually tried it yet because I'm too busy in Baldur's Gate. But once I'm done with that, I will give it a go and probably tweet astoundedly of my disappointment or impressiveness, if that's a word.
Well, Rob, you've got priorities now with Baldur's Gate. I'm excited for it. I mean, that whole D&D element as well. I mean, I know there's the whole thing with apparently a bear as well, which we won't get into. I mean,
it's a very horny game for sure. Yeah,
it's it's up there. I think the internet's gonna love it. Truly,
it's D&D. Every D&D you've got to roll for MILFs, and sometimes you crit. It's good.
Yeah, as long as you roll that crit 20, it'd be absolutely smashing, pal. But obviously, going on to with 2K games, we all know about 2K20 and how it was rushed into the shitters, and they would release Battleground as well. It's like a side thing as well, and then eventually come back for that. Is there still elements you think from 2K20 like that are bad elements are still in the 2K games as of now?
So I never actually played 2K20. I played 2K 2019. Yep. And I was like, cool. 2K 2019. Yeah, played 2K19. That was fine. 2K20, I just didn't get because I heard it was so janky. My flatmate actually bought me it for my birthday, and it's still sealed. It's still sitting there, not doing anything. And I don't think I've actually played a 2K game, like a new one, since 19.
Oh.
I could check my Steam library to tell. There wasn't one in 2022, right?
No, maybe there was. Yeah, 2K22 and 2K23.
Maybe I did do 2K22 then, briefly. I don't know, but I can't remember, so it must not have been that great. But yeah, the trouble with it, I remember now. The trouble with it is that because that was good, because they tried to do the whole backstage thing where you're going around to talk to people and all that, but just like the fact that everything led to a match, or it just didn't. It was just like ticking off a to-do list of like, hey, you've got this DM, go see this guy, kind of thing. And it just wasn't fun. Like, I want to run around, I want to just have nonsensical like conversations with people, and then maybe they end up running in and costing me my match type thing. That was fun. A little bit random. Give me D&D with wrestling.
Ooh, that would be interesting now. I'm actually oh God, bring that back. Bring that. Rob, you've got an idea there, pal. You can make some.
I'm full of ideas. Tell me. Let me tell you.
Hey, we love to see it. But something I do want to touch upon is obviously WWE games, especially yearly releases. They're coming out, once every year, and I think like the COD series. Do you think that's going to eventually bite them in the ass? We're going to get a 2K20 situation again, and they need to take their time.
For sure. I think not to get too political or industrial, but you see it with any form of media, right? Games are the worst for it because they do put themselves in a position where they're like, every year we need a release. COD, as you say, at least they've got like 2 or 3 teams working on games over 2 and 3 years. They've got it down decently. But like Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed, and just any game where it's a yearly release, like it's either not going to be as much of a difference of the last one where it's not needed, or it will be a 2K20 where it's absolutely jank and people will swear off your game. They'll still buy it, but then they'll complain about it. Like, I think I don't think there's anything wrong with taking a couple years. Yeah, sure. Maybe stop putting the year in it. AEW was smart with that. They didn't call it AEW 2023 or something. Just fight forever. I think they should just keep updating the roster and updating the game itself. But there's not that much money in that, so I can see, down the line, you do another version. But I think they do need to kind of slow your roll and kind of do, maybe you got 2K23, do a big update or like a DLC type thing for 2K24, modified roster, a new large story mode. But then you're still working on it. So you're not having any time off or any time for the new game. It's a very hard question to answer. I don't have the answer for that one. Yes. But just fucking pay your developers and give them the time to create good art, and then everyone's going to be happy. We don't need yearly releases. If your game's good enough, people will be playing it for a long time. And if you can cheaply and effectively do DLC on a consistent basis to keep people engaged, you're going to be okay. Payday 2 is still a game. I'll leave that there. That's still going. I saw it on my Steam thing. It's like 10, 15 year anniversary. Payday 2. TK, do a Payday 2. Just let everyone wear masks.
Hey, who knows? Maybe we'll get a AEW Team Fortress 2, because that's still killing it now.
Exactly. But those are different beasts, obviously. And 2K want as much money as Vince McMahon likes to think he has.
Indeed he does. Indeed he does. He loves that fuck you money.
Oh, I wish I had fuck you money. But yeah, anyway.
We all But it's obviously, with these 2K games, they've got many aspects of them. GM mode, universe mode. They have the My Rise, and they have the faction card bullshit that no one fucking likes. I want to know, Rob, are you a fan of do you like My Fact? Do you like the card mode?
When I did enjoy it to start with, because it was like, oh, cool, a reason to play the game. Little fun challenges, and it was challenging. And then it's like, oh, I now need to spend money to buy cards. This isn't good anymore. Like, no. Like, it was a really good gameplay. It just then needed real money, and that shit.
Absolutely. I mean, I thought was kind of creative what they did is, with the premium live events, if you watched them, you got codes to get the packs. I think that's a good way to incorporate synchronization between the game and the product. I want to know, Rob, is there a particular aspect, maybe from the past games, you think should come back into the modern games to give it a new energetic boost?
Just wilder create a wrestler. Like, I know it's pretty wild when it comes to realisticness, and you can just go off the rails and everything. But I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like, maybe it's my imagination, but when I was younger, I would just do crazy stuff with my guy, and and it would be wild. And now it's like, oh, I'm gonna make me I want to be a wrestler. Oh, I am. But like, I just feel like there is a difference. Like, they're more limiting with like the stuff you can wear. Like, if you're wearing this jacket, you can't wear this t-shirt, and the hairstyles and all that. I think just kind of take off those little guardrails. And same with weight classes. Like, my go-to guy I made in every SmackDown versus Raw game was a 6'4" muscle-bound high flyer who's like open in sequence, was STO, springboard Phoenix Splash, Rolling Thunder into like some other move. But like, that's what I want. I don't want to have to fucking, I've got to be 6 foot if I want to do flippy moves. Or no, let the Great Khali do a moonsault. Hell, do it. I know you can do that stuff on PC because I've seen it, but like for console as well.
Well, I'm sure our PS5s can finally get some good shit and be able to mod the shit out of things. But also, with video games, they've got great stories. I mean, think of stuff like The Last of Us, the Xenoblade Chronicles series on the Switch, Zelda, and all these great games. And obviously, wrestling's got great stories as well. I want to know, Rob, if you had to take like a video game storyline and incorporate it into the wrestling world, which one do you think would, make that mix well?
Video game storyline, but not a wrestling video game storyline. Because my brain immediately went to the United Kingdom storyline, where it's just all the British and Irish guys forming a faction, and they came so close, but Rusev was there, but it was cool. But man, I don't know. That's so hard because I mean, you could argue, like, with the bloodline stuff, you could definitely argue that there's room to do proper in-depth stories, as well as like AEW's long form storytelling that they do occasionally. Fuck, I really don't know, honestly. Like, I can't answer that unless it's something like Marvel vs. Capcom, which is just invasion storyline, actually. But fuck it, yeah. Forbidden Door, it's Marvel vs. Capcom. All right, that's been done because that is just Forbidden Door or WCW Invasion. So let's go with fuck it, just Baldur's Gate. Give people give people little mind worms, and they can control people. And every now and then, you accidentally fuck someone in the ring. No, let's not do that. But I don't have an answer. My brain is too fried from Mind Flayers to actually think about that one. Good question though. I'm just shit at answering it.
That'd be interesting, Rob. No, Rob, I want to propose to you as well. Obviously, I love kind of like the imagination, but I love what about video games is the collector's edition. Collector's editions are banging. They're awesome. I want to know if 2K came to you and said, Rob, we need you to make a WWE 2K25 collector edition, and you get to pick the items that go in it. What would you like to see in it?
Okay. 2K25 collector's edition. I mean, they're probably going to do this anyway to an extent, but you've got to have a Bray Wyatt Fiend collector's edition. Not to put it directly on a sour note, but that just makes sense. Collectible thing. You can have a mask. You can have the lantern. There's so many little tangibles. You could just the stuffed toys of the puppets. Like, come on, it's sitting right there. But also, I think it would be a great just thing for them to do anyway, because I feel like he never got his flowers properly, at all during his run. And it is kind of sad to see him gone so soon and so like out of nowhere, it felt. But yeah, fuck it. Bray Wyatt Fiend collectible edition with everything I said: mask, lantern, stuffed toys, and some red LEDs as well, just for the fun of it.
Hey, 2K, get on your fucking game. Get this shit nice now. That would be absolutely brilliant. Obviously, Bray sadly passing away last Friday was just an absolute sudden thing and shocking thing to see happen. But I want to know from yourself, Rob, do you have a particular fun moment of Bray as a fan that you look back on?
Man, there are a lot of moments for him, but honestly, I think just every promo he ever fucking did, honestly, like just his delivery, like just the way he spoke, whether how much of that was like just him or like putting it on, dialing up to 11, but just like the cadence and the tone and the accent, like I just loved that and everything he said. And like I remember I think it was Parts Fun Known did like a 3 or 4 video series on the Fiend character and how it's been there from the start, whether that's like intentional or a lot of him sifting through his own promos, like, oh, I mentioned some white-faced thing, okay, let's do that. I like to think that it was all a master plan, and I recommend anyone go watch that Parts Fun Known video because it is amazing. But honestly, I think, yeah, just like his imagination, his character. I can't think of a single like storyline. It would probably just be the ones he never got to do because someone told him no, and that will be the biggest shame, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just shows, sometimes you're gonna trust yourself because your imagination can make sometimes the biggest things that people will truly love. And,
yeah, totally.
We'll miss Bray. Good man, gone too soon. But obviously, Robin, I want to go back to yourself. Obviously, once a fan, always a fan. But how did that story begin of you getting in the ring and finally pursuing this dream?
Man, it kind of came out of nowhere. Like I always wanted to do it. I remember sitting in a pub at a an event with like a bunch of family friends and talking to like someone, and she's like, oh yeah, I want to be a wrestler. I was like, oh, like the Hulk Hogan. I'm like, but yeah, you know, and he was like, oh, absolutely, go for it, do it. But like the closest one that I knew of, or I mean, let's be honest, I didn't really look into it because I was too nervous to actually do it. But I know there was one in Romford. Like, I'm from Walthamstow in London. And you know, closest one was like Romford, which is about, you know, like a 45 to an hour bus ride, which isn't the worst. But at 17, 18, not a lot of self-confidence, and an attitude problem. That ain't great. And I didn't have like, you know, no way of getting a lift. Like my nan wouldn't have ever driven me there just to faff around and then drive back kind of thing. And honestly, I don't think I had the attitude for it. It would have just queued me up and spat me out, or I'd have just been, you know, the biggest dickhead in the world. So I'm kind of glad I took so long to do it. But fast forward to like 2019, and me and my flatmate were just in the gym, you know, joking around, and you know, we basically decided to go see ICW, Suge's house party, whatever one it was, in 2019. We'd been to a few disco events, I think, as well, Discovery Wrestling, and we super enjoyed it. So then we was like, oh, ICW, let's go to that. And I can tell you that the exact match, for whatever reason, where I was like, oh, I can do this, was Joe Coffey versus Liam Thompson. Not only for Sync getting the loudest pop of the night, but just there was just something, just seeing those guys just throwing each other around. I was just like, yeah, I can do this. Like, I don't know, like, they're bigger than me, but I see myself as quite a bigger guy, like, you know, body dysmorphia and everything. I was just like, these guys are big and they're fucking going for it. Like, yeah. So kind of toying with the idea for a bit in the summer. I mean, my flatmate were like, oh yeah, cool. Like, let's look into it. So found Reckless Intent, kind of sent a few emails to go through there. Scheduled that for like one Wednesday, and like the Monday before that, one of our mutual pals just sent us a message of Joe Hendry opening his school, or doing an intake and whatnot. And we were like, you know, do the maths, and it basically ended up being, you know, 8 weeks at about the same price as it would have been doing 8 weeks at Reckless kind of thing. And it was like beginners, and it's cool. So we both went to the Reckless thing, super fun. You know, did an international, did some suplexes, jumped off the top rope onto a cash mat and everything. It was fun, safe, cool. And then beginners class with Joe on the Sunday, and it was like 30 minutes of just locking up with air, and then getting into like wrist locks and everything, like 3 hours every week. It was super cool. I was still going to Reckless as well, so I was like really learning it from both sides. But it was just really fortunate that, you know, I decided to actually look into it. I had a flatmate that was going to go along with me. He doesn't wrestle anymore, but, you know, he got me through that door because I was a little coward and needed a friend. But now I'm here. So, you know, super, super glad for it. Yeah.
Oh, good to hear, man. Good to hear. And also, you know, Joe Hendry's a hell of a guy doing great stuff in Impact. I've had Judas Gray on the show, and he talked about learning under Joe. I wonder from yourself, Rob, you know, what kind of lessons from Joe you learned that now you're going to take with you for your whole career?
Man, there is a lot. Mainly just to be safe. You know, he's big on like being safe, and obviously like, you know, say no if you're not sure about it. And through his teachings and my own, you know, not taking that advice, I now will. Literally like last summer took a like top buckle crotch thing, you know, the gimmick, push your legs out, my balls. And my ass still hurts to this day. Like, I'm pretty sure I've got like a bruised tailbone, and you know, both my finishes are sit out moves. So, but yeah, so definitely to, you know, say no, or the little bit of a yeah, but what about this? That kind of thing. But also just he's really good when it comes to breaking stuff down, especially for TV, because he's a TV guy. You know, finding the cameras and all that stuff, and working with ad breaks is what we've been doing recently. But yeah, I can't really say one thing. Just his drive, man. His drive is insane. He's so busy all the time. I don't know how he does it. Just nothing but coffee.
He's a workhorse. He's a workhorse, my friend. That's what he is, indeed. But obviously, you mentioned some moves. You're going to be like, oh, I don't want to take those. Is there a move that you look at and think, yeah, fuck that. I ain't going anywhere near that shit.
Oh God, there's quite a few. The amount of times I'm watching wrestling, especially like All In, it's just been like, and that's added to the list of shit I won't do. I can't think of anything right now. Yeah, I mean anything involving glass and barbed wire, probably. Just smash cut to me in a death match in like 2 years' time, just trying to make a payday. But no, yeah, anything like that. And yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but probably just about anything that Penta does. I probably just don't want to go near.
Avoid all the flips. Let's avoid light tubes, barbed wire, glass, Legos.
Skewers. Definitely no with the skewers.
Robb Stow list of shit I ain't taking. Let's put it right on there.
Saying that, anything in a normal match you'll take, because at the end of the day, I gotta take some stuff to give some stuff. So, gotta wear them out and then I can hit my stuff. That's how it goes.
Exactly, indeed, Rob. Obviously something I want to ask as well. When I first saw you like wrestling at Discovery in the Disco Derby, one thing that catch my eye was your gear. I really like gear because you have a lion, a unicorn. Is that a dragon as well in your gear?
Yes. So if you see those, yeah. So unicorn, lion, and dragon. Basically, they're like the three heads of my family. I say that. I was gonna get a unicorn tattoo. Always wanted a unicorn for my mom. Since since she passed away and before then. So I was like, yeah, I'll get a unicorn. And then one of my pals was like, why don't you get a dragon for your nan as well? She really likes dragons. Like my house in London is full of unicorns and dragons everywhere. Yeah, so she was like, why don't you get a dragon? I was like, that is a good idea. Fuck it, I'll get a lion for myself as well because I love lions. So those were my first 3 tattoos. And then when I was thinking about a logo, because kind of going back to the whole creator wrestler thing, right? Like everything's got to be there from day one or it's not worth it. I was like playing around and thought, fuck it, let's just put those 3 together. It's something that's on my body. It's something that, is uniquely me. And yeah, I dig it. I'm glad to hear you like it. What do you think of the color scheme? Let me ask you that.
Great. I love it. Yeah. I love the color scheme. It stands out, and I love the mixtures of colors. You've got something there. Hey, shirts are going to be flying off the shelf when you get that made.
Hear this, people? Hear this? Good color scheme. Everyone that thinks otherwise, fuck yeah. But I do have other gear coming as well that's a little bit more simple because, But I've still got that one. I'll still wear that one because I do like it. Purple. I've kind of bought into the whole purple gimmick. These are usually purple as well, but I thought I'd, good times, get the red and black out. But yeah.
Wow. No, I mean, you're thinking about your figure in a couple of years' time. You'll have a couple of variants. You'll be sorted, selling off the merch.
Exactly. Think of the DLC when Discovery get a video game. Oh,
man. But let's talk about Discovery because I've had Alan Smith on, who's the owner of Discovery, on the show, and he talked about building an environment that's beneficial to the wrestlers, like having catering and having, proper facilities for you guys. As a wrestler, what does that mean to you to see that the promoter is putting so much thought into building a perfect environment for you guys?
It's really great. Backstage at Disco, it is a blast. There's always stuff to munch on. There's always plenty of space for, the talent and the crew to kind of just chill. If you want to be in a big group chat and shit, you can. If you want to go somewhere else, like you can. It's not, it's nothing too serious. But no, yeah, they do a great job. I've not exactly been, to many places backstage, but the ones I have, it's much the same. Plenty of space. Plenty of food and drink and water mainly going around. But yeah, it is just a good time there. Yeah.
No, it's great to see, and it's great to see that so much thought's being put into you guys as well, and of course the Disco Derby as well. You'd come out with a wee bit of a hand. We helping hand. Obviously, former guest of the show, Monstrum, hell of a fella.
I mean, listen, things happen, right? I didn't exactly know he was going to do that. take advantage. That's fine. Not a fan of Caleb running back out afterwards to get involved. Costing me that I was clearly going to win that derby. Like, come on. But you know what? It's fine. Nothing without redemption arcs and everything. What's that they're saying? The story never ends and all that bullshit. Yes. So that's fine. But don't worry, Caleb will learn his lesson, or has learned his lesson, depending on how quickly this goes up at the end of September. But I'm sure we'll get to that.
Yes, of course, because obviously September, you guys are going to be facing off at Discovery when you go to Livingston. And I want to know, is there a plan for Caleb, or do you think maybe Mister Valhalla is going to fall from the heavens because of his own deeds?
There's a plan, and the plan is break his back and send him to hell with 1 L, because that's just how it's going to be, Not to spoil it for, I did do a promo today that's going to go up tomorrow, but like Aspen and Caleb, they're all doing little videos like, oh, we've got each other's back. Okay, cool. Don't care. Not interested in both of you at all. You're just in my way. I'll deal with you and I'll move on. That's our perspective in the good times. Mister Manoval's always conniving. I'm always thinking of strategies. Monstrum's there making noises. But he does what he's told. He's a good lad. So, but yeah, if we need to do something, we'll do it. But I don't care. Like, I want championship gold, right? I want to have great matches with as many people as possible. Caleb will be the first singles. And then, if Aspen wants some, he can get some. If Joe comes back from America and Canada and everywhere else, then he can get some too. And anyone and everyone between, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely, Robin. Of course, you are a guest of the show, so you have my full support as always. As always do, indeed.
I bet you say that to all of them.
Blah, blah. Yeah, we'll cut that out. Well, obviously, within Discovery, there's obviously the Y Division Championship held by G Money at the moment, and Gene's a good guy. He's a good talented.
How did he get that belt? How did he win that? Was it me? Yeah, Gene, you're welcome. Give me a match.
I mean, it definitely seems like he was a little IOU, I mean,
yeah, if it wasn't for me, he wouldn't be champion. I mean, if it wasn't for Joe not relying on his skills and relying on cheating, Gene probably still wouldn't be champion either. But once you go to the dark side, there's no coming back. As much as you try, so
as much as you
here
try.
We go.
Indeed, but obviously, I love when wrestlers customize a championship to fit themselves. Cena with the spinner, Jay Briscoe with the Ring of Honor championship, he customized. And I want to know, Rob, if you won that Y Division championship, how would you put your own little stoic twist on it?
Stoic twist. Man, that's a good question. See, I don't know how. I'm not really sure where I stand on the whole, customizing a belt thing, because it's cool, gets you to sell replicas and everything, and it is like, nice. But at the end of the day, I feel like it just devalues it a little bit, just a little bit, because it's like, well, that's not the one that you fought for. Like, it's not the same belt, like. And then, when someone beats you for it, they're not going to be using the same. Obviously, spinner belt is a different thing, and whatnot. But like, I just probably wouldn't. Maybe I'll give it a nice strap, right? Have different straps for whatever gear I'm wearing: purple strap, red strap, whatever. But other than that, honestly, I think I'd just leave it, because the Discovery belt's a beautiful belt as well. So I don't think I'd want to do that. Side plates for sure, though. Right, like 3 head side plates. That's what you want.
Oh, that'd be fucking beautiful. Yeah, that would be beautiful indeed. God damn! But
I ain't paying for it though. I ain't paying for the side plates.
No, but we'll get G Money to pay for it. I'm sure he can pay.
Yeah, loser pays for side plates. That's how it works, right? Yeah,
there you go. Easy.
That's why no one wants to lose, because then you have to buy the new guy's side plates.
As it does in the world of wrestling, my friend. But obviously, the whole UK scene's on a massive, implosion of fans and business when AEW came for Wembley Stadium of All In. And, you know, it was a hell of a show. I want to know your thoughts on the show altogether, Rob.
I fucking loved it. Like, it was great to just hear that many people, you know, just having a great time, but not obnoxiously so. There was one point where they probably could have shut their mouths, but whatever. But yeah, it was great from, you know, start to finish. It was just fantastic. I'm glad I wasn't there because I would have been way up in the nosebleeds and not seeing anything. But, you know, I think it will be awesome, and it will be even better when I'm on it next year.
Well, I mean, I don't see why not. You know, maybe you versus Christian Cage. He loves to say he's the TNT Championship. Maybe we could have that kind of match.
Yeah. I mean, I've got the ammo for him. Promos will be easy for him. So yeah, let's go for it. Book it, Tony.
Book it, Tony. But yeah, of course they are coming back, which, you know, I was there at the event, and when that was announced, everyone was kind of like, wait, what the fuck? They're already announcing this? I mean, them coming back, does that just show, because, you know, I like to think that the Yankees, you know, think, the UK crowd won't turn out for wrestling. They ain't going to sell out Wembley Stadium. I mean, them coming back just shows we fucking love wrestling, eh?
Hell yeah. Like, we do. Like, I think it's obvious we do. Like they all know it. Like, any other companies know it. WWE know it. Like, they do their TV, you know, show runs and their house shows. They're pretty much selling out because we're gagging for it, right? So then, obviously, they did Clash of the Castle, massive. All Out, All In was announced. Then they got Money in the Bank together, massive. All In, even fucking bigger. And I do hope next year will be even bigger. You know, I reckon they could figure out how to get more people in those corners. I know why they're empty because of the rafters and everything, but give you more. There's a lot of open space. Probably cut that down. But no, yeah, of course we're gagging for it. Like, people say the wrestling scene is dead, and it's not. People like wrestling. People like going to the wrestling. Just put on good fucking wrestling. But that's all I'll say on that. But yeah, obviously people want it, and people do want to see big stars. And you know, obviously America is where most of those stars are. We have our own, and it's great to see them on stages like that. Like seeing Will Ospreay, who, you know, well, he's only, like, we're about the same age anyway, but like I've always looked up to him, and I think that's how I wanted to wrestle back when I was younger, thinking about it. And I'm pretty sure if I had actually started training at, you know, 17, 18, I probably would have ended up in the same school as him. And who knows? But, you know, what ifs and could have beens, fuck them. But yeah, so that's dope. Obviously seeing Saraya win the women's is dope. Grado coming out and being Grado, which I'm convinced only happened because people were talking about it. That was a last minute thing. You ain't telling me anything else. That was not planned until fucking Tom from Cultaholic was like, wouldn't it be great if Grado came out, and said it to Jeff Jarrett, and Jeff was probably like, yeah, that would be great actually, and gave him a call. Like, I guarantee you that was not an idea that started in AEW. I'm telling you. That was them going, let's give the people what they want. And they did, fair enough. And who knows, next year maybe
he did. You know, just thank fuck he wasn't getting the train, because the trains were all fucked at that point.
Oh, yeah.
But obviously, you know, going to the next year's All In, I think the main event should be if MJF's still champion against Will Ospreay, because I think that would be a fucking hell of a main event.
Oh, yeah. Man, I'm that's just immediately thinking of MJF as champ for another year. Whew, I'm here for it. I love MJF, and, you know, being our scumbag and also just being the biggest prick. Love it. Yeah, I'd be down to see that. Make it a triple threat. Chuck me in there as well. Wild card. Why not? I'll just me and MJF headlock takeovers for about 15 minutes. One hook kick. I'll take the pin. Let Ospreay be champ. I'm here for that.
I'm pretty sure I just heard Meltzer writing 5 stars already there. Not done on that, but obviously, you know, the UK scene, there's so many other great names, obviously with yourself in there included. I want to know, for next year's All In, is there anyone on the UK scene that you think should get involved and be on that stage at All In?
For sure. Man, there are a lot. I think if, guys like LJ Cleary, Leighton Buzzard, they're really on an uptick just now. Obviously, Leighton's just gone over to Japan, and LJ's being all mysterious or whatever. So, those guys would be dope to see. Joe, if Joe Hendry's no longer with Impact, or if they, can arrange something, that would be cool. Just to hear everyone booing him, that would be great. And obviously, just from a personal point of like love, is like a guy like Ian Skinner, who does not get like the flowers and merit that he's actually due. He's fucking good, and he deserves the fucking world. So South Pro, give him the belt. AEW, give him a fucking match against like literally anyone. And it'll be fucking 10 stars. Definitely not Judas Gray though, or Ryan Richards. Keep those guys away from London. Send them to like, I don't know, somewhere where wrestling isn't massive for that whole month. Where?
The Highlands, shall we send them to the Highlands?
The Highlands. It's decent wrestling up there, right? That's where Aberdeen is. I don't know. I'm not from here. Just lock them in a dark room full of rats until All In 2024 is over, and then they can come out and be like, "Oh, how was it?" It'll be like, "Ah, it was dope. You weren't there."
Fair fucking play, Rob. Fair fucking play. But obviously, with the big companies coming over, the independent scene thrives. They put on great shows that everyone can come see. Riot Cabaret, Rev Pro, they all put on great shows, even Progress as well. I want to know for yourself, Rob, is there maybe a promotion that you want to see yourself go to in the future?
For sure. Like all of them? Probably, yeah. But for sure, like South Pro, I really enjoy what they're doing. I think they've got the capability of being, like a UK Big Four type thing. Don't ask me what the UK Big Four is, but they could be up there. Progress would be cool. They're probably the top UK promotion, right? Progress. Mm-hmm. Really anywhere. North would be great. As well as like OTT, just like those just big places. But honestly, anywhere would be great. I have a goal to wrestle in my hometown of Walthamstow. As far as I know, there was 1 month, I think last year, I saw there was a show happening in Walthamstow, Black Horse Road, pretty much next to my high school, and it was Eve wrestling, so I couldn't get on that card. But hopefully, that's really dope hearing that there's actual wrestling happening in Walthamstow, and there's even a training school there now. So Burridge, I think it is, who trained Will Ospreay, funnily enough. Wow. He now has a school in Walthamstow, which I think is dope. But yeah, that's it. Just anywhere and everywhere. Just pay me to break a back and I'll be there.
Oh, absolutely. You've heard it there, folks. Get the man on your shows indeed and whatever you can. But also, UK wrestling as well, they have so many great, beautiful looking fucking belts. Red Pro, Progress, ICW. I want to know, Rob, if say 10 years time, you can envision yourself as a champion with any UK promotion belt around your shoulder, which one would you want to see and why?
God. That's also heavily implying that they're the same belt. Because, by that point, they might have changed. Also heavily implying I even know what the belts look like. But, I mean, I will say, I know, again, not to kind of be a living horse, but South Pro's belts look fucking good. The South Pro one looks really great. I think, yeah, I'll go with that. South Pro Championship, just because it's new, it's fresh, it's shiny, and it looks cool, and they're great guys. So
all around, we'll see that in the future. I think that's written in stone. But Rob, before we finish up here, I want to propose a philosophical question to you. You know, with the Japanese, they have the kind of strong style wrestling, lucha and the Mexican, and Americans, they kind of have the entertainment style. British, we kind of have our own identity. And say if you had to meet a wrestler from abroad and had to explain to them what, you know, British wrestling is and what it means to British wrestlers, how would you do that?
God, it's a tricky one. I'm gonna try not to fall back on whatever it was Chris Hero said about like the 4 different styles of wrestling. And because I think what we're like, because with globalization now, everything being everywhere all at once, you know, British wrestling does have its own identity and its own little quirks, but we take everything from everywhere. If I had to explain it to someone from abroad, and that is a hard one, I would just say better. It's just better, you know, because you know we hit hard when we need to. We can tie people up when we need to. We can make people laugh, make people boo, and you know it's one of the longest going, you know, divisions, areas, countries doing it. Words are hard. You know, we've got a long history of it. The only reason American wrestling is what it is now is because of the British influence, and you could probably chuck that everywhere else all over the world, right? You know, arguable. The only reason Japanese wrestling is the way it is because of all the American guys that went over there and made it a bit more entertainment. And the only reason American wrestling is as hard hitting as it is now is because of all the Japanese guys, and not to mention Mexico and like the lucha stuff. So the UK, we're just in our own little bubble. We've taken everything, we've made it great. It's just people just don't give us the money to do things as big as other places because America makes shit up. But yeah,
they do,
that's what I tell them.
Hey, I think that just shows with the UK, we've got the great wrestling, we've got the great fans, and we've got great wrestlers like yourself, Robb Stow. Now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Soul Sessions. But obviously, I know modern day people are lazy. They don't like to do things. They don't like to go and find their information. So Robb Stow's Instagram will be in the link of the description. You can click that, follow him, and see the man's career ascend and grab all the gold across the United Kingdom. But also, Robb, what I'd love to do with every guest, dates in the future. If people want to see you wrestle in person, what more dates have you got lined up, my friend?
Yeah. So the only one announced so far is September 30th for Disco Wrestling in Livingston against Caleb Valhalla. So that's coming up. And hopefully I'll be on the anniversary show for Disco whenever that will be. And that will be a year from my like debut as well. So that'll be dope. My own little anniversary along with that. But yeah, apart from that, it's quiet. If you want to book me, DM me. But yeah, apart from that, I'm all good. Thanks for this. It was fun.
Well, absolutely. Well, promoters, get him because he'll be a great addition, but he might break your roster's back. I think that's a thing to have. Well, hey, Robb, viewers, thank you. Remember to subscribe and follow for more Soul Sessions. Thank you, everyone.